Hi, this is a follow-up video. These are multiple worm bins. They're made from Hellmann's mayonnaise tubs. They have holes at the top and at the bottom, and they leak, or the worm tea leaks into the bucket at the bottom, which is easy to collect. So I'm about to add worms that I've harvested from other worm bins. So this is typical what might have come out of one of these bins. So I'm just going to turn this upside down. You can see all the worms there from that bin, from that pot, and they will very gradually make their way down into the worm compost. By adding a large number, hopefully I will be able to increase the rate at which the composting takes place. As you can see, there are masses of worms in this one. Okay, so they will all disappear into the compost within a few minutes. We'll come back to that. I'll do the others and we can see how far we get. Not quite so many in this one. So let's break this up again. Well, quite a few in there, as you can see. I'll spread them around a bit. Okay, so that's 2 done so far. Here's the third one. I should explain, these are harvested from various bins I've got, but I started off with horse manure that contains the brandling worms, or red wigglers. The technical name is Isida fetida. We use these worms because they breed very, very quickly. That's number 4. Move on to number 5. Again, huge number of worms there. The worm bins contain a mixture of banana skins, coffee and vegetable matter. I usually don't bother chopping them up, smaller than that size, but I've recently got a hold of an old liquidizer which I'm using, so I've used that to mash up food for them. The larger the surface area, the quicker the bacteria will break everything down, and in theory the quicker the worms will be able to consume it. So, next one. So there's a mixture of chopped up potato, carrot, green beans, the small bits, coffee and banana skins all being liquidized. Here's a load of paper that wasn't quite finished from the last worm bin, and there we go. So So we're now moving into larger amounts. And try and distribute these across 2 bins. As you can see, there are huge numbers of worms. I've been doing this for about 3 years, and I just started off with a few bags of horse poo, and this is the result from that. They are sociable creatures, they like living together. There's very little you need to do with worms apart from feed them every couple of weeks. The yellow thing you can see there, I'll just point to it with my finger, is worm egg. So from that you'll get several more worms will appear over time. Right, 2 more. So let's see. When you're harvesting worms, I pick them out, which takes quite a while. There are methods of using sunshine to concentrate them. There we go. You make little pyramids of the worm compost that you were trying to, with the worms in them, and let it start to dry out. Then what happens is that the worms try and find the darkest, dampest place, which will be in the middle at the base of the pyramid. So there we go. And adding some of the compost from the previous worm bin is a good idea, because that will be full of bacteria which the worms love. Let's see, this one here, well in fact there's 2 of them, but let's just try and get that down to 1 for you. Well, it's one long one, or is it? There we go. I caught the wrong one. Never mind. There we go. Ah, this one's a better one to see. If you see there's a slight swelling mid-body, that is called a clitellum, and that's where the worm eggs are first fertilised by another worm, and then eventually they will slough off and produce one of the cocoons, which is the yellow egg, from which you'll get more worms. Now you get the occasional straggler trying to get out, so I just put them back in the middle. And if we go, you can see they're all gradually disappearing. They're all gone from that one. Yeah, disappeared there. This one, because it's still a clump, I will break up. And you'll see I might divide some of that, make it fair on the other bins. They will now start moving down. Similarly with this one. That's it. Now at the start of the video, they've all gone. So this is the one we started with, and all the worms have now disappeared. And number 2, number 3, there's still a large clump, so we'll break that up, spread them around a bit. There we go. And number 3. go. Got them all over my fingers. Well, there we have one showing a big clitellum. If you can see, even though it's focusing, the large worm just towards one end of it, you can see a swelling. It's now going into the soil. Let's pull him out, have another go. There we go, you can see the clitellum there. So they will now disappear down into the soil. I will put some cardboard on top of each one. Because they are circular bins, I just cut out circular pieces of cardboard. The worms will eventually eat all this cardboard and incorporate it into your compost. Right, well, I'll then put on a plastic lid and I'll put them back and put them somewhere in the shade. Feed them roughly twice a week, once every 2 weeks. But basically you've got to make sure they've eaten all the food that's available. Have fun.